The New York Islanders squeak out a 5-4 win against the Chicago Blackhawks tonight. And it's just one of those shake my head kind of games. Wow, this one goes up there as one of the weird ones. This goes as a weird game. The whole thing, everything about it, nothing about this game was right. uh, well, we hit the roller coaster going back up to 500, at least NHL 500. That, I guess, is the key. I guess we're days closer to getting Declare and Barzell back, which I think is going to help us immensely. But geez, I had a scare tonight there when it looked like Horvat might been seriously injured, and I thought, oh, great! Just as our guys are starting to get close to come back, now Horvat will go down, and as he's starting to get hot again. So, yeah, that was a little bit scary, but we did our job in the standings tonight. We went from started out in 10th spot, and we're back into ninth place, tied with the Rangers once again. But the Rangers have like 3 games in hand on us. But don't get too excited. Tampa, they're a point behind us, but they got 5 games in hand on us. There's a lot of teams with a lot of games in hand on us, so that's gonna be worrisome. But the bottom line here is it's not really it's not so much the positioning, it's more the stick around 500 until our guys return, which is what we said right at the very start of these injuries, is just hang around until our guys come back and we can take a run at this thing. And by keeping 500, that's the bottom line. You can look at other teams with games in hand and that, but you have to know that they're going to go through slumps and stuff like that. You never know what's going to happen. I think it was last year. We were 10 points behind Detroit right at the very end of, well, I would say a good 3/4 of the way through the season. And in about a week's time, we won 5 and Detroit lost 5. I mean, it was crazy. I think you all remember that little stint there. That was nuts how fast that changed. And all of a sudden, then Detroit fell like a rock after that, and we hung around and got the playoff spot. So that's pretty much what we've got to do tonight. But I gotta say, it was a pretty sleepy, boring game, most of it until all the scoring happened. But you can't be happy with the Islanders' effort in this game, especially the way they came out. And it was a sloppy victory all the way around. It just showed by the way they ended up closing this thing out. And this one wasn't a choke one, because this one, there was no doubt the Islanders were going to win this once it was 5-1. This was just a matter of sloppy, lazy, oh, we've got this in the bag routine kind of deal thing. And then, oh, it goes 5-2. Well, no panic. There's only 5 minutes left. Still got to score 3 goals. Oh, well, it's 5-3, but there's only a minute and a half left of the game. Oh, well, now it's 5-4. So that was just pure laziness. Never was the game in doubt. So I'm really disappointed the way the Islanders let down Ilya Sorokin tonight. This guy, and it's a good thing. Well, he still made a lot of great saves in tonight's game, but the team needs to go to bat for Ilya and tighten up at the end there and get his save percentage going. I know it's a team game and everything and that, but good Lord, how many times does Sorokin bail his team out? And we can't put in 10 minutes of work to help him out with his personal stats and stuff like that. It's a letdown. It's a letdown for sure. So anyway, let's let's talk about how this all unfolded. So it looked like it was going to be another typical first period snooze fest for the Islanders. Well, it was a snooze fest, but it wasn't going to be a nothing snooze fest because Connor Bedard, another unfortunate bounce for the Islanders. Well, it starts with a bad pass, but he was under pressure, and it was just the way the puck came off the angle of the boards that Palm couldn't get it to this side. And then when it came back off the boards from this side, he couldn't get it on that side. And the puck just came straight to Bedard. Looked like we were breaking out of the zone and we were going to kill off the power play, and the penalty kill would have done its job. But no, nope, 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 nope. The PK, as it just doesn't matter. You know what I mean? it doesn't matter if the PK does good. There's always something. There's a puck deflecting off somebody. There's a puck that goes straight up in the air over the goaltender's head and it'll drop behind your net. There's always something. So you can just constantly make excuses for our PK. But the bottom line is they don't get it done. So Connor Bedard from Donato and Vlasic. So uh, you have to be worried in games like this, especially when you see the effort that the Islanders were putting out in the first period. There are no easy games. Even the 31st, 32nd, 30th, and 29th and 28th place teams, those are not gimmies. Those are not gimmies nowadays. And this one just had all the earmarks of it. It just looked like, oh yeah, this could turn out to be an ugly, low-scoring Chicago Blackhawk win. But in the second period, I'm pleasantly surprised with the play of Dennis Cholowski and a really sweet slap shot goal from the point from him. The one thing I really do like about Cholowski a lot is the way he shoots the puck. So Cholowski gets his third of the year from Simon Holmstrom and Pajot, and this was a nice play all around. Nice play all around. It was really sweet shot. I have to say, I think I'll probably talk about this in the player comments, but I think when we do become healthy, that George is the one that needs to be sent down, but we'll talk about that later into it. So, yeah, nice to get a third goal from Shaloski. I believe that leads the team unless Dobby tied him. Yeah, he ties him a little bit later. So, Holmstrom and Pajot, they look really good tonight. They looked the way they were connecting last year on the PK. They just seem to be in sync tonight. So good on both of them. And lo and behold, this is much to our shock. 8 minutes later, Simon Holmstrom adds to the lead to give us a two, or doesn't add a lead, gets us the lead 2-1. I'm at this time thinking, this is crazy. This is so undeserved that we're up 2-1. But you know what? I'll take it because we barely ever. I think when we went up 2-1, we had 11 shots on net at the time, and it was late in the second period. So nice play by Holmstrom, though. Nice starter by Pajot there. Or I mean Pulock and Pajot both getting the assists on that one. Pulock had a really nice game tonight as well. But Simon gets his eighth of the year, and that's good enough for a 20 goal pace. So kind of what we were hoping for out of Holmstrom last year. I don't know if I had as lofty goals as 20 because he did score five shorthanders last year to get him to 15, and you're not going to score five shorties every year. So I wasn't really sure, but he's making it look very attainable with the way he's playing. I really like the way he hung on to the puck too, not just the shot, but it was how he found the open ice for himself on that goal. So it was really a sweet play. So Holmstrom with his eighth, and Pulock 10th assist, and Pajot with his ninth assist of the year. Pajot, well, I'll talk about him in the players, but another good game by Pager tonight. And in the third period, no real surprise here is Noah Dobson scores his third goal from Nelson and Lee. And the reason I say no surprise is because we have had so many 3-1 leads, it seems, this year going into the third period, or at least had a 3-1 lead in the second period that we've eventually blown. And with Dobby, he scores it fairly early. It's around the 5 minute mark, and you go, and this has all the earmarks once again of a total failure. But uh, beautiful goal by Dobby. I was so worried on that play that he was going to pass the puck to Pierre Engvall on coming up on the 2-on-1, and I was thinking, no, shoot the puck, Dobby, shoot the puck. So glad he did. Brock Nelson finally picking up a point. He's only had 1 point in the last 7 or 8 games, I think it is, up until tonight, getting that assist now. So that's two for him. Anders Lee picking up his 12th assist a year, just having just another bang up season for Anders. So 3-1 for the Islanders, looking good, right? I'm not a whole 100% relaxed, but I do kind of get relaxed when I see Bo Horvat scores eighth of the year from, once again, Holmstrom and Pajot, both Holmstrom and Pajot picking up their 10th assists each of the year, and Bo Horvat scoring his eighth goal of the year. I talked about this in the last podcast that I did. about the importance of that empty net goal that Bo scored, that he had scored a goal, then the empty netter. Just kept the good feeling going, and now like the goal that Bo scored tonight was a goal he would have missed in that 13 game streak that he had. And it was a snipe. It was a beauty. The whole play was gorgeous. Pajot and Holmstrom, their passing was sublime on that goal. And Horvat, his finish on that was real nice. So now it goes 4-1. I'm thinking, all right, now I can relax. Now I can relax. So this is good. And then Max. It's now turning into a route. Max, who's now been scoring a little bit later. I think that's 4 and 7 for him now. So he's definitely finding that scoring touch, and assist on that was Palmieri with his 13th and Dobson with his 14th assist. But yeah, he just planted himself right in front of that net and then scooped that puck straight up over. And all of a sudden it's 5-1 and we're on our way to easy street. My fantasy team is flying. On one of the goals, I got all 3 points. I got a goal and 2 assists on one of the goals from my fantasy players. Ilya's playing great. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Well, I'll tell you what could go wrong with only 9 minutes left in the game. TJ Brody can score a goal from Bedard and Foligno, and at 5-2, I'm not worried. Sure, there's 9 minutes left, but I'm just it's just too far for a Hawks team. And the second that I had that thought in my mind that it's too far for a Hawks team to come back, I immediately thought of San Jose last year in the third period against us, how they came back and beat us like very similar to Chicago could have capped this off almost the same way San Jose did it. So it's 5-2, and I'm not too worried. And then all of a sudden, Bertuzzi scores with a minute and 10 seconds left, 5-3. I'm a little bit ticked off. I got Sorokin as my fantasy goaltender. He just killed his save percentage because y'all got lazy and decided not to defend for the last minute because you had 10 minutes because you had a 4 goal lead. And just to make it even worse, they let Bertuzzi score again with 10 seconds left in the game to totally destroy Ilya save percentage, and it was just a disgusting end to a game. And like I said, I don't think this had anything to do with choke. This was nothing to do about the old chokes that we our third giving up our third period leads and that. This not even in the same category this game. This game was just give up. Oh, well, we got this in the bag. We got this in the bag. So I'm not happy. I think Butch said it best at the end of the night. It kind of leaves you with a really bad sour taste in your mouth with a win like this. But you got to take it for what it is. Once again we're 500 and we're in ninth spot in the conference, so we're still in the fight. The guys are another couple days closer to returning to the lineup, so hopefully we'll be fully manned sooner before later. And I just want to say, it's just another typical thing of bad luck that can go wrong with the Islanders. So we get all 5 guys relatively injured at the same time within a week of each other. And so they're all basically 4 to 6, if not longer, except for Romanov. Romanov came back, but then he came back too early and had to go back again. So we lost him twice because of this. And I had a point to this, but I honestly can't remember it right now. I'm gonna just pause this till I remember it. Well, that's a point I'll never get back again. Maybe I'll smoke another joint here. It was a good point. It was going to be a really good point, but totally completely lost my mind. Maybe I'll come up with it as we go a little deeper here. Maybe the thought will come rushing back to me, but I highly doubt it, folks. I wouldn't wait around for it if I was you. All right, so we're gonna talk about the players tonight and just how they did. And first off, as we always start with Max, our lowest number on the team, number 7. And I think it might be time to sip a cup for Sorokin jersey. I don't know which one to go with. Probably Sorokin. He's the longer bet. So, but another nice game by Max, putting up a goal. He was important on a couple other goals that were scored out there tonight that he didn't get any points on as well. So he ended up being a +2 with 16 minutes of ice time, getting his goal and a couple shots on net. So that was really nice. Simon Holmstrom. Wow, what a great game for Simon. I was gonna say I was thinking at the start of the game, I was watching, like, oh my God, he's so disappeared. But the lines were all a mass jumble tonight. And there was really no lines. There was sort of one line that kind of stuck together, and that would have been eventually when we put Palms, Nelson, and Siplikov back together in the second period. But other than that, everybody was all over the place. So I can't really talk about lines tonight because there wasn't one line better than the other. But all I can tell you is Holmstrom got to play with some better players tonight, and it looked it because he was making things happen out there. He looked like a completely different player. Goal and 2 assists with 3 points. That's the way to get her done. Time and +2 on the night, 1640 in ice time, and could not be happier with his game tonight. I said last game. I keep saying last game, but I'm actually referring to my last podcast. I was a little under the weather and I missed last game, which was unfortunate. I really would have liked to talk about that LA game because I thought the Islanders did a lot of really good things in the last two periods. Once again, they had an almost identical first period that they had against LA, and I was hoping that they would turn it around, and obviously they did. I don't really think they turned it around because of effort tonight. It just things just happened, and the puck just started going in. There were some really nice plays and things like that, but I I really didn't think they were playing that great. Now, obviously, they picked it up for a certain period of maybe a 20-minute period, maybe 10 minutes of the second and 10 minutes of the third, and we kind of combined that for enough to win the game tonight. But that other than that, I was concerned with our play, but I'm also hey, I remembered my point. I know what I was going to say. Not only this flashback to way back when, about 3 minutes ago. Oh, if I keep talking, I'm going to lose track of it again. No, I'm not going to lose track of it. Knowing typical Islander luck. Typical Islander luck. When we lose all our five guys, we lose them for 4 to 6 weeks of the most condensed hockey that the Islanders are going to play this year. So did we get a break? And like I seen Toronto went 7 days there once without playing a game and that, but it was just everything went wrong, just the wrong time of the schedule. And so as much as I get down and I get ticked off at the team and that for efforts like tonight, the fact that these guys are hovering around 500 right now really is astonishing. It really is, and we should give them credit for the credit that's due. And most nights the effort's there. Most nights the effort's there. And I have a tendency of forgetting how many games the Islanders have just played in the last 30. Like in the last 30 alone, we had like 17 games or 32, 17 and 32, something along those lines. But that's a lot of hockey, and a lot of it was on a long road trip and that. So I have a tendency to forget that. So, but once again, just typical Islander luck. We get the majority of our games while our players are out. Couldn't be during a lull in our schedule that those guys get injured. Oh no, it's got to be during the heaviest time of the of the season for us. Anyway, back to the player reactions. Bo Horvat. Uh, Another good game by Bo tonight. And like I said earlier, when we were talking about the gameplay, I really think that empty netter did a world of good for Bo. He just snapped that puck, no hesitation. And I could see by the look in his face that he kind of felt like, yeah, I'm back. I'm back. That was the convincer. That was the clincher right there. Now, if he had gone 2 games without a goal since he broken that streak and then scored again tonight, it wouldn't have that same feeling. But that empty netter just kept the feeling alive, kept the feeling alive. And I could see it in Bo's face when he was rounding in celebration that he just felt like he got his mojo back, which was really nice to see. So good game by Bo today. 2 shots, 17 minutes of ice time. Matt Martin, all I ask for is zeros across the board from him. Don't go into a negative. He provided that tonight, so I'm not going to lay down too hard on that tonight. Didn't really get hemmed in too much tonight. A couple of times we got hemmed in, and it was because of him that we got hemmed in. But he also tries his best to make up for his mistakes. So I'm not going to get too down on him. So good game by Matt. Engvall -1. I don't know. I mean, he's filling a spot right now. Is basically what he's doing. He's just. We need to have 12 forwards, so he's just one of them. But oh, good Lord, it's not it's tough. It's tough with him, and I don't know what more to say. Kyle Palmieri. Obviously, I thought he kind of disappeared for the first period. I didn't even see him, didn't even notice him, and it was amazing. And the same, I just haven't got to him yet, but the same could be said for Brock. But it's amazing when they put that line back together in the second period that the Magic just immediately, not like on the second shift, not on the third, not on the fourth, did it start to take effect. It immediately took effect. These guys had some magic chemistry between them. Sipakov, Nelson, and Palmieri. And it was quite evident. And that's Kyle picks himself up a point by Sip returning the line. They get their magic back, they've got their mojo going, and they're flying out there. So Palms ends up with an assist +1, 19 minutes of ice time, and overall good game other than the first period, which I give almost everybody on the Islanders an F for the first period. It was awful, awful. Wally, nah, it was an okay game. It was okay. I mean, it was -1 tonight. You hope not to have that happen from, but it's still the caliber of players that he's playing with. But he can play better than he did tonight. He can. I've seen him, but he's trying to. He's doing his best with what he's got right now. So I just can't get too hard on Wally for that. Anders pulls another assist tonight. The guy's just a point machine, doing great. And he does it in 15 minutes and 34 seconds of ice time tonight. So the captain leading by example was -1 tonight. That would have been the flurry of defending on one was on the 6-on-5. Anders is always out there for that. Man, we really seriously gotta actually defend a 6-on-5 one of these times and score an empty netter. See what it feels like. Brock Nelson, kind of rinse and repeat what I said for Palms. He kind of was nowhere to be found in the first period. And then as soon as Sipakov jumped on the line, the magic was there, and the three of them were off to the races and running. And I thought Brock had a pretty good game. It's nice to see him get on the score sheet. He has been on there a lot in the last 8 games, so it's good to see him get a point and +2 for the night. He logged 23 minutes of ice time tonight. That's a lot for a forward. So good job, Brock. Once again, that would just be Patrick awarding play. I know it was because all of a sudden when Max Palms and Brock took off, they were almost coming out on the ice over second shift there until we got way up. Uh, Kyle McLean, I thought he had a good game tonight. Not as good as he can be, but the effort level, I did see the effort level there from him tonight. So good night for Kyle. They put zeros across the board on the fourth line, so good night for him. He did that in 10.5 minutes of ice time. But Kyle also had 3 blocked shots tonight. So yeah, so he's laying his body on the line for the team. So that's what you're looking for at the fourth line, that's for sure. Pajot, wow, I called him out around game 8 or 9, I think it was, around game 8 or 9 on my podcast, and I said, we need more out of you, Pajot. And boy, he has been nothing but consistent since that time. I know they're joking tonight that he scored 6 points in 6 games. He did 2 3-point nights, but so that's an inconsistent 4, but you have to remember what type of player Pajot is. Pajot is not a point per game player. He's just not. He's like a half a point a game player. That's what he's been all his career. So you take those 2 3-point nights and you run with them, and he's stepped up his game. He's stepped up his game, and him and Holmstrom looked like they had just some fantastic chemistry out there tonight. So Pager grabs himself a hat trick of assists tonight and a +2 as well, and 3 block shots. So There he is taking faceouts, 3 block shots, getting 3 points. That's a first star night for Pajot. A great job, JG. Zeker, no, no, it's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. -2 in this game when no other Islander is no other Islander was -2, really? No, no, nobody's even close. As a matter of fact, there was only 3 players on the team, 4 players on the team with a -1, but end up with a -2, Casey. Like that's a whole bunch of horrible going on right there. I'll tell you that. Ryan Pollock, like I said, the guy is just, he's leading our defense while the defense has been down and broken. Picks up another assist tonight, +2, 22, 22 of ice time, 2 block shots. What more can you ask for Ryan? He did have a rough first period, I will say that. He gave away a couple of giveaways that I noticed that weren't typical of Ryan tonight, but he was crashing. He was even crashing the net as a D man, forcing the play down deep. So you gotta love seeing that coming from Ryan for sure. Noah Dobson, I thought had one of his best games in a long, long time. 1 goal and 2 assists, or I mean, 1 goal and 1 assist for 2 points, but +1 as well. 2 block shots. Excellent game by Noah. There was a couple of defensive plays I thought were just a little bit soft that could have been tighter, but nothing major, nothing really significant. So, Dobby is supposed to be our point producing defenseman, and that's what he did. So, good job for Dobby tonight. Mayfield, just way too casual on that goal. Way too casual. Took way too long behind the net to make that pass to Romanoff on the half boards. So I mean, like I don't know if he could have done anything worse because Romanoff is waiting for the puck and Mayfield's holding on to it. So Romanov is getting closer and closer to our blue line when he should have the puck before then because our defenseman should not be that high up. And he's staring right at him like, give me the puck, give me the puck. And he takes too long, lets the Hawk come in and check him, and then he makes a horrible pass. Now Romanov is way out of position. He's behind Mayfield's behind the net, and there's just the Hawk sitting out front there. And that's what I meant by about the laziness and everything. You have to bear down at times like that. And that's just not bearing down. I saw Romy. He did one of these after the goal score. Like, what are you doing, man? And it's not a good thing to do to your teammates, but sometimes you just can't help it. And that's what when good hockey players start really getting frustrated with like I Scott is Scott. Scott is a warrior. So but talent wise, he's not oozing abundance of talent. It's more heart and everything. Don't get me wrong, Mayfield's still talented. He's got his own talent, but yeah, in that case, no. Dennis Cholowski, I really like the way Dennis has turned his game around this year. From preseason, he was a hot mess, and he was a bit of a hot mess last year as well. And I just think he's really played a really, really good game. He hasn't been overused in ice time until tonight. Tonight he got 19 minutes, but this is just one of those situations where Patrick sees you playing well, he plays you. And I love a coach like that. I would have died. Those are the coaches that I love to play for. I get if I'm doing it, then I get it, and I love it, and I love the way Patrick does that. So, I thought defensively, he's been very good. Been he's not rough as a defenseman or anything like that, but he's very good at positioning and stuff like that. And where I was saying he was really big in defensive liability, he's not becoming a defensive liability. And he's got 3 goals from the point for us this year. He shoots the puck. I like that. And he does have some poise with the puck, when it comes to zone exits. Definitely has a lot of poise when it comes to zone exits. Romanov, I thought had a pretty good game tonight. 2 shots, 2 block shots. Not his best game, but it was solid. It was solid. He basically got zeros across the board after the shots and the block shot. Isaiah George once again suffered with the ice time, getting the lowest at 14:33. Not as bad as last game. So, but the important thing was is Isaiah was +1 in the game after having a rough defensive miscues last game. Got himself a block shot, got himself a plus in the plus column, which got him more ice time. And once again, this is the second time I have found that George has been given a penalty as a makeup call for something the refs missed earlier. Like there, I had no doubt that penalty against George was a makeup for not calling the delay of game on Dobson for jumping on the ice, and this is the second time it's happened to him. So I'm not overly upset about either one of those penalties that he took in the recent past. So Ilya, man, I feel for you. I feel for you. You so don't deserve this. But I just want to give kudos to Patrick Waugh. If you check my podcast, it was around game 5 or 7, 5, 6, 7, or somewhere in there when all the injuries happened. And I said I thought the plan for Sorokin this year was going to be more of a 4A, 4B, or 1A, 1B kind of goaltender where they're kind of rotating. I think, they were going to try to give a little 45-37 kind of split. But I said back when we had all the injuries that we have a weapon, and that weapon's name is Ilya Sorokin. And I said Patrick needs to ride him like a rented mule if it needs. And this is the reason why we're 500, folks, is because Patrick has rode Ilya, and he is the reason we're 500. Sure, there's lots of effort from other guys and that going on, but Ilya is 100% a weapon. Patrick has used him appropriately. Once Farley comes back, you just flip a little bit the other way, depending if the schedule does it. Like you might want to give in a certain 5 game period, maybe 3 starts to Varley when he eventually comes back and it's 100% healthy to give him a little breaks. You can give him breaks during the season. There's going to be a big break this year, and the beauty of it is Ilya's not involved with the play, so. Ilya's got 2 weeks of vacation in Mexico or wherever the hell he wants to go. So, yeah. So I wouldn't worry about playing him. I'm really happy to see Patrick riding him like a rented mule. So anyway, overall, it was one of the strangest games that I've seen in a long, long time. It was so boring for the first period and a half, and then finally once the goal scoring took over, didn't mean the play was any better. Didn't mean the play was any better, but at least there was some excitement of goals being scored in that. So anyway, the big thing is we're back to 500. That is the main key, and our guys are 2 days closer since the last game to returning to the lineup. So anyway, I hope everybody takes care out there. All of you guys and girls, take it easy and peace out.